So, to kind of get off, like I said, what I do is I look for these areas of interests. I find the range. The range tells me if it's going to be a good area to look for entries, right? Whether it's buys or sells. Okay. And that's all based off of, with that range, what is my risk to reward? Okay. So, for example, if I'm going to be trading in this general area, one specific area I would probably not trade in is going to be the space between this higher time frame pivot level and the VWAP right here. Okay, and I'll just put this at 930. Okay, so this will be a no trade zone for me, meaning I am waiting to see if price trades below the VWAP. We have good range to the downside to the next pivot point, as well as overnight lows also, which we can mark out, and usually I will mark out with a white dotted line like so, right? Because taking sells below VWAP gives us 100 point range. Past that level as well gives us another 84 point range, right? I look for, I would say, minimum 40, okay? Because at the end of the day, what I want to see happen is space for the trade to play out. And what I don't want to do or have happen is my trade, either buying or selling into an important level where otherwise, the probability of it continuing through it either may not be as high or may not make sense when it comes to, what my risk to reward is going to be, right? So this specific area for me going into market open will more than likely not be a trade zone, right? A little bit above this as well, 60 points, maybe, depending on obviously where the Q line is. So when we open up the second tab right here, which is where we are looking for entries and exits, our Q line is right at 531, which would be technically in a good place to where if we do find bounce plays or buys off of that higher time frame pivot level to continue higher, and important levels or targets would be that previous day high, that pivot point, right? Obviously, again, entering, I would not want to enter in this zone either. Okay, and then when we're talking about range, I mean, we have 300 points range to the next pivot point. And then when we're talking about structure, I mean, the only thing I would maybe point out in this is maybe the premium of this entire range right here. And again, because in this boot camp, we are starting with the automated, setting alerts, going with over the algorithms and quant link and all that, because we are starting with that first when it comes to like the deep learning sessions. We have not gone over things like premium and discount, which are a little bit more important for our manual trading, right? We will go over them in the later education sessions over the weekend. But obviously this bootcamp, we are doing it slightly differently. We're flipping so that the automation side, which is what a majority of people are interested in, ATS members, elite members, working to find that automated strategy to apply to the markets. We're going to teach that first, and then as we're teaching that, and then as you guys are then running something automated, then you're also learning market structure, supply and demand, premium discount, how to kind of infer your own opinion on the market, which then you can also apply to your automated trading, right? Especially when we get into the economic data and news and all that type of stuff, right? So I want to make sure that everybody has a good understanding, but I really, really want to make sure that you guys all watch the video on YouTube that went over this entire system setup on how we find entries on the left side, how we filter out some of these entries by looking at areas of interest and confluence on the right side, right? And then basically just go for base hits, right? We're not here to make $1 million in a single day. Our job as traders is to find something consistent that can, happen maybe not on a daily basis, but on a majority of the days, right? Because to go into something and expecting to make money every single day is an unrealistic expectation. That will never happen. And I'll tell you that right now, right? Even if you are going for a, 50 point or $50 profit target, because if your first trade goes directly into drawdown, right, and you're just going for $50 for a profit target, but you're willing to go, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 into drawdown, unless you have like a high like 89, 90, 95% win rate, that's going to be very difficult to find consistency with. Okay. So at the end of the day, what I try and push to you guys are things that you can apply to both the manual and the automated side of trading, right? Which again needs to be consistency. That's the only thing that matters in trading. If you're not consistent, you can't back test, you can't forward test, right? You can't collect data, okay? If you're not being consistent. So in order to be profitable in the long run, you need to be consistent, because you need to be able to calculate and infer and bring together the data that you need in order to say, okay, is this strategy worthwhile, right? Obviously, this one is, because it's been traded basically and being applied to the markets for almost a year now, right? I mean, manually, it has I would say most of the payouts that have been generated when it comes to the manual system that are taught or shown in the Discord server. Okay. And it's also extremely simple, right? Like what we talked about earlier, right? Simple, stupid. We want to make sure that, when we're trading, we have less things to worry about. There's not too much noise. And at the end of the day, this is a really, really good example of that. Okay. So for the recording, so the screen that I'm going to be sharing on Discord, I'm going to switch that over to NinjaTrader, okay, right now. But on the recording, we're still going to see and look at the trading view window, okay, because for whatever reason, NinjaTrader isn't like showing the candlestick window on the recording for my OBS. I need to figure out how to change that, right? But we'll go ahead and switch over now because the market just opened and we want to make sure that we are ready to go at about 9:35. Okay, so let me just switch over real quick on Discord. And then just confirm for me, guys, that you guys can see the NinjaTrader screen correctly or fully. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So again, because this is a little bit still newer to me, specifically, I'm trading a sim account. Okay, I'm not trading a prop firm or a cash account. It says trade pause here because in order to have this show up on your screen, it is an automated system, but you need to pause it from taking trades if you want to use it as like an indicator, right? So we're gonna mark out those same levels that we had before. Drawing tool. So we're going to do the box. So the box is from 524 now to 474. So this is 930 right here. 524 to 474. And this is just going to be the that no trade zone that I marked out earlier. Okay. And then another drawing tool that we need is a horizontal line, or just a line, because that's where the pivot level is, and that's like right at 524. So we will put that there. Let me see if I can make it a little bit thicker. Okay, that's better. Pivot level there. Okay. Already kind of reached that previous day high. So this was like that open, so this is that first buy, but obviously we're waiting for it. And then we have another pivot level at, what is this? 633, which we're literally at right now. Okay, and then same thing here, properties. I'm gonna change this to 5 like we did before. 5, apply. Okay, boom. So we're gonna look for this, right? Obviously, if we get above, then I would be pretty interested in looking for some buys, maybe at like 650. Which actually I'm going to put
Order submitted.
right there. So buy stop at 650. Stop loss would be right around 610. So about a, oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. It'd be right around 620. So a 30-point stop loss. Obviously, when we're placing our entries, this Q line is going to be where our stop loss is. So the stop loss is
Order
going to be the
filled.
first box that closes below the Q line.
Target filled.
There we go. So we're already moving it up. 970. Partials were taken on that first box. I guess it's because it was the ATM, which I might have forgotten to change. And then as more boxes print, obviously we're just trailing our stop loss by that baby blue line. Target wise, if we're looking at trading view, we have premium at 676. So like right here. So that could be maybe, let's go 3.
Order submit. Order filled.
There we go. Oops.
Order canceled.
Want that. Okay. See, so like this is why I want to this is why I wanted
Order
to
canceled.
make sure that I'm on a why doesn't it let me sell stop?
Order submitted.
So that's a trailing now. So it took half at the first box, took another half at about 4 boxes or 3 boxes, I'm sorry, and then we're still trailing now. For anybody that's obviously for the recording, entry was 650. Right here. Stop loss started at what, 620? Right there, and then we're just letting that thing run. The next pivot on TradingView isn't until like 960. So and keep going. The next pivot isn't until 960, which is so far. Obviously, I don't think we're going to make it all the way up there before seeing a pullback, but oops.
Order filled. Order canceled.
Okay, so I just got stopped in profit there. There we go. So 4 box take profit, so 40 points, 60 point run up about. Why isn't it showing the trades or the entries? Let's see. I don't know why it's not showing the entries. We did trade it into the premium level of the bearish leg though. What index are you trading today? I'm always doing NQ. I don't trade anything else manually. If you want to apply this strategy to other indices or other assets or whatever, then it would be what's it called? You would just apply it. Literally nothing would change. You're literally applying it the same exact way as you would with Nasdaq. Did everybody understand why we took that specific buy that we took earlier?
Order submitted.
No, not
Order canceled.
Yeah, see, I still need to get used to this.
Order submitted.
To NinjaTrader a little bit. So this would be an example of a breakout if this next box closes, but obviously it's not something I would take because, again, we have the pivot. That pivot's literally 20 points away. That's not a good enough range for me. At this point now, too, the VWAP has kind of caught up to 96. So I'm gonna make that a little bit smaller. So now that no trade zone up here is smaller. Oh, and I didn't add the other no trade zone. The other no trade zone we have is between the previous day high level and that pivot. So about 632 to 598. So 598, 632. So no trade zone, no trade zone. Maybe sells from the bottom of this zone to here, sure.
Order canceled.
Buys if we get back above the Q line. If not, sells from here to here, sells from, and then sells below like 495. Look like momentum, but so yeah. So the thing with the strategy is that this strategy here gives us entries or shows us where we can take entries with momentum, right? There's, again, as explained in the video, there's two different types of entries that we have. It's the bounce plays or the continuation plays, and then we also have the breakout plays, right? Obviously, the breakouts I want to see happen off of important levels, right? Such as, oh, this could be a breakout back to the upside.
Order submitted.
Off of important levels, such as we're trading past a pivot point, we're coming back to retest it, we're rejecting it, and we have a breakout entry model playing out right off of that level. So I'd be willing to take that trade with the entry at that 670 level, and then my stop loss for this would specifically be 2 boxes, right? And then see if we find a continuation. Anything in here I'm not trading. If we look for something from a momentum or continuation or bounce play off of this 596 level down, I'd be willing to do that as well.
Order filled.
Like a very specific, like,
target filled
continuation, and now we're just trailing now at this point, right? And now we could just trail this all the way. We would be at break even once this Q line does start to trail up more, but we may take a 1 box loss, which would be a break even because we took half at that first box. And this is just the ATM. Like I said, I probably need to change this. Normally I don't take half at the first box. I just let it trail. And we're already at a 1 box stop loss because now that the stop loss, or now that the box kept printing, now technically this level here would be the first close below. So it would be 59.5.
Stop filled.
Just got stopped. So that would be an example of a break even. But I don't know why this isn't showing the entries. And then obviously this would be an example. Obviously, when you're looking at the recording, trading view looks slightly different. The Q line for this specific for NinjaTrader is slightly more reactive, just because it just shows more data than TradingView as a quicker what's it called? A quicker refresh rate.
Order submitted.
So it'll be a similar entry here again, more so of a breakout coming off of pivot. Yeah, Ninja is still relatively new to me. I don't have all the kinks worked out, but I'm able to technically trade on it if I wanted to. But I just wanted to showcase NinjaTrader. Tomorrow we'll do TradingView and show the difference, and obviously you guys can dictate and decide which one you like better, right? Ultimately, it's a preference. It's up to you guys. I just think NinjaTrader has better quality data than TradingView. Okay. And then, like I said, I wouldn't, if there was no like previous day level here, I would be a little bit more willing to take that. But like that can also hold price
Order
up.
filled.
No, I just want to move it. So this would be a breakout, similar to the trade before, off of
Stop
pivot,
filled.
and just stop this out.
Order submitted.
And like a good example is that like on TradingView, like the Q line is above here, so this wouldn't have even been a breakout. Neither of these would have been breakouts. But we have about a $4 or $5 win, a break even, and then a full loss so far. Just literally taking almost every entry that we've seen. Did miss the opening play for 930. This would have been a nice buy up. I mean, that would have been that was literally about 540. That was almost 200 points right off the bat. And again, I'm just using this to showcase to you guys entries with live markets. When you guys, obviously, I'm trading a sim account now because I'm still relatively new to TradingView. So this is not something that you guys should be following blindly. As I said, if you didn't watch the video
Order
and
filled.
you haven't seen the strategy set up yet, like this is not something you should be doing on an account that matters. For example, a funded or for example, a funded or a evaluation account, right? That should have hit, but it didn't for whatever reason.
Target filled.
Now it hit. Stop loss is still here because remember that Q line hasn't moved. Same thing here. No, will kind of start to dart up a little bit. Wherever that the end of the line is, if it's, for example, above 650, then that's where you then move your stop loss to where 650 would be. If it's below 650, then obviously you don't move your stop loss yet. if this next one prints, notice see how I've darted up. So the line is we're at 651, so that means now we're moving our stop loss up to 650
Order submitted.
or 649 to be exact.
Stop filled.
All right, and then we got stopped out there. Oh. Okay. I'm trading on a cheap 25k eval. Follow along and better figure out Ninja. What do you think is better to just go 1 MNQ or go 2 with the ATM to start? I mean, I think ATMs are good with like for stop losses, but again, normally I don't have like partials being taken and all that. It's just the ATM that's there that I forgot how to change, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, so I'm gonna try and take a sell stop.
Order submitted.
And then obviously stop loss would be, because this would be like a break retest back below. Or we can go for a buy stop above.
Order submitted.
Either or. Because this would be another breakout above the what's
Order filled.
Okay. So this would be 2.
Target filled.
So already we're at 2. Let me delete
Order
this one.
canceled.
So let's see where this one runs to. If it runs at all.
Stop filled. Order submitted.
Breakout above.
Order filled.
Pivot.
Target filled.
Okay, we're already moving up. Yeah, so it definitely helps to have the ATM, especially if you're trailing, or especially if you're taking partials at any level. Again, normally I don't do that for the like. So for example, this breakout that we just took, like it already took partials almost instantly after that first box printed. Like if you go back to see recordings from me on TradingView, like you won't see me take partials. It's just like I'll trade like 5 micros and I'll just trade that and that's it. Yeah. And again, this Q line is also much more reactive than what I'm seeing on TradingView. Like TradingView doesn't show this black box, but on NinjaTrader it does. The big difference between TradingView and NinjaTrader, guys, is that NinjaTrader there's no like time frame for the Renko bricks. Like on TradingView, you can set it to 1 second, 5 second, 10 seconds, whatever. right? But on uh, trading on NinjaTrader, there's no option for that. It's 100 millisecond refresh speed for the Renko bricks because it automatically assumes that you want the quickest refresh rate for the Renko bricks versus TradingView. That's why using anything other than the 1 second on TradingView doesn't make sense because realistically speaking, you're going to be 5 seconds delayed, 15 seconds delayed, basically whatever you have set in TradingView for the time frame. So, but like I said, it's simple. You're buying breakout buys when everything's green, breakout sells when everything's red. You can still take partials, trail, all that stuff. But this is just to kind of show you. I will say, like I said, TradingView is much more user friendly, right? But NinjaTrader has better data. So it just, again, a personal preference. Notice here, Q line is not above 650. So if I put my stop loss at 650, right, I would have been stopped out there, but it's not past the Q line. So that wouldn't have stuck with the rules,
Stop filled.
right? So instead I took a break even on the runner. So now I still have a chance where if I do want to go a little bit more past, let's say I want to take the bounce play that would happen here.
Order
Right, I
submitted.
can because we're confluence wise, we're still like above, right? And this would give me a 2 box stop loss as well. And then we also have the high of the opening range of like 685, which is like right here. So that can be another possible smaller target, I guess. It depends. I'm gonna heat up my coffee super quick, guys. Give me a sec. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the video for the strategy at all? Obviously, we're going to go over everything a little bit more in depth as the other weekend sections come along. But any like early
Order
questions
filled.
that you guys have for the video that I sent you guys to watch at all? You want me to go over anything or reconfirm things?
Stop filled. Order submitted.
I feel like I get chopped up sometimes to see or no trade zones, but that is something that I struggle with in getting the right entries. So realistically, if you want to be sure or more high probability, right?
Order
What you'll
filled.
do is you'll wait for the for like a bounce play. So like for example, this would be an example here. So obviously for TradingView it's not showing up, but for NinjaTrader at the on this leg right here, right, it shows that there's a red candle or opposing candle and then a continuation candle. So like what I'm showing here on NinjaTrader, you can wait for something like this, which would be a bounce play for that buy to be here, and then your stop loss will more than likely usually be a little bit bigger. I like to take sometimes limit orders off of levels if I can get a 2 box
Target
stop loss,
filled.
because to me, getting a smaller stop loss is important. 4 is maybe the absolute max that I can go, right? Like that's like the most that I'm willing to take. I'm not going to do a 50-point stop loss, right? Because even at a 4 box stop loss, if I get 4 or 5 boxes profit out of it, I'm okay with that, you know. Um, but again, ultimately, 2 is like the priority, and then what's it called? If I could get it, or if 3 is there, I'll take that like pretty much almost every time as well. But I would prefer to take a 2 box because I can always limit myself with small losses, and then whenever there's like a running like this will make up for you know 10, 15 losses alone, right? So that's the whole point, is to like get smaller stop losses or get better risk to rewards as much as possible. So when it does run like this, right, when you do have a day where you have almost a 200-point move, you can technically lose 10 losses in a row and you'd be break even, right? And the strategy historically has about, if you're using like confluences, I would say in the 70s. If you're using no confluences whatsoever and you're literally just taking buys when everything green, sells when everything's red, right? And let's say maybe trailing by 2 boxes, then a little bit lower, right? Like 60s, maybe high 50s. But the risk to reward is there. Like it's a 1 to 2.5 or 1 to 3 more than likely, or most times, right? So, that's just my
Stop fill.
thought process on it, right? Like if you're happy with 1, 2, 3, 40 points on your first trade, like what we got here, you're done for the day. You don't need to trade all day, right? I'm still trading because I'm showing you guys like all the different things and ways that you can enter and trail and all that stuff, because that's what a big part of this boot camp is, to teach you guys how to be a trader, right? Like that's the whole idea, the whole goal here is to teach you guys how to be a trader. So then you guys can then go, okay, I'm done with the boot camp. I'm going to take what I learned and then I'm going to apply it to my accounts, right? And almost every single person that's taken the boot camp, I think, has become better and seen more success than they did previously. And that's the whole goal. That's the whole point of doing things like this, right? And as I'm sure people like Dan can confirm, which he's been in every single boot camp, right? you know T as well, I think, was in a past boot camp also, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see the full username, but I know that the profile picture looks familiar, right? Like at the end of the day, it's to find what works for you guys based off of the information that I can show you, right? Some people may not like TradingView at all and they only want to do NinjaTrader. Some people may not like NinjaTrader at all and they only want to do TradingView, right? Ultimately, it'll be different results. I think they'll both be profitable if done correctly and you use the correct sizing, right? But at the same time, like, I want to make sure that you guys are smart and educated on the best practices to not only save you the most headache, right, but save you the most money too. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, including myself, like when I first started trading, like, I didn't have someone like myself that did a lot of free content, right? And that's just the truth. Every time that I wanted to learn something from someone, it was, here's my, $5,000 course. Here's my, $4,000 course. And 99% of the time it was stuff I could find on YouTube anyways. I just didn't know of that beforehand. So, and obviously the boot camp is, you guys are paying for it, but I think that's different because I'm, investing my time into you guys as well. You guys aren't paying for the information, right? You guys are paying for me to teach you the information almost on a one-on-one basis, right? That's the reason why it's paid. If I wanted to do a pre-recorded video and blast it out there, and sell it to people, I think that's completely different because you guys are just basically looking at a screen, right? Like there's nothing special or personalized about that, right? So therefore, I don't think anybody should charge for it, in my opinion, right? Especially if it's like common stuff. Like on YouTube right now, like you can watch the basic price action stuff that I'm gonna go over and expand upon later in the bootcamp, right? Obviously, I expand on it more in the bootcamp, but like it's right there on YouTube in a playlist on my channel, you know. So, and you guys can watch that whenever you want. You could watch it, before the boot camp, after the boot camp. Again, I reinforce everything that I talk about in that video. Oh, I gotta move this up. I reinforce everything that I talk about in that video as well, right? I just go a little bit more into detail, like during the boot camps. No question about it. Boot camps are a huge help. Working the live trading each morning is key, along with deep dives over the weekend have been invaluable to my trading. I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you. And like I said, showing up every morning makes a huge difference. You guys will start to see that the more you show up in the morning when price is live and moving, the more times you'll see, oh, I've seen this happen before, and this is what happened, right? All that type of stuff. What time frame do you execute on? So executions are done on the Renko bricks, right? Everything else, it doesn't really matter. You're just getting your. So if we're going to TradingView, right? And I'm going to show TradingView real quick. So if we're going to TradingView, if we're going to TradingView, right? Everything here, okay, is basically just extra added confluence. This is just to filter out possible bad trades that we get with this, right? Like we saved ourselves on probably a lot of losing trades here for sells that otherwise probably if we didn't have any of this here or marked out, we probably would have taken, right? We missed out on this and stayed away from this because we had these levels. So that's where I say, people can decide to just trade the left panel or just trade the Renko bricks, or they can decide to learn, candlesticks, price action, and reading charts to help them filter out those bad. You're not going to filter out all losses. That's never going to happen, right? I don't care, what strategy you're running. Every strategy will take losses. That's just part of the game, right? The idea is to make your losses small, your winners big, right? But yeah, like execution wise, directly on like so if I'm a Ninja Trader, I'm just using the Renko bricks, right? If I'm on TradingView, I'm using the Renko bricks on the left panel, but I'm also referring to the right panel. But like here on Ninja Trader, like, oh, this thing. So see, notice, so this is like right at 950. So I'm going to move it up here. See, like if it keeps running, right? Like I don't care about the break even, the two losses that we took here, right? We're already well past that. Plus the winning trade that we had at the beginning. Normally I would have stopped after that first trade. That first trade, we took the buy and we went 5 boxes. That's my TP for the day in most cases. I'll go for 5 boxes or 3 boxes on 10B, right? On 5B, you go for 5 boxes, 25 points. That's if you can replicate that daily, like you're gonna have not only a very high win rate, you're gonna have consistency, right? And the biggest difference that people don't understand is that when you're trading, like most people don't have a trading or a strategy or lack of information issue. They have a capital issue, right? And a psychology issue. Small capital, not having money to trade makes people want to rush the process. Rushing the process makes you lose money more quickly. Losing money more quickly makes people think that trading is a scam or that they can't figure it out or that it's not for them, right? So again, another thing about the boot camps is that, I try and, especially if you're newer to trading, but in general, I try to teach you guys that there's more to trading than just actually executing
Stop,
trades.
Phil.
That's a very, very, very small portion of what trading actually is, right? 95% of trading is literally just waiting and not doing anything. If you can not do anything most of the time, you're going to have more success than you are being on the computer trading 24/7, right? Same thing with algorithms. I don't believe any algorithm should be run 24/7. Why? Because there's always going to be a time in the day where any strategy will give back to the market. The more exposure you have, the more loss you have. More trading or trading more often does not mean making more money, So that's, again, kind of tying back into the live trading aspect. The reason why this strategy is the way that it is because it's very systematic, It's literally telling you, okay, everything's green, we're above the Q line, you can buy, and you'll have a relatively good chance of making money, right? Does that mean you're going to make money all the time? No, definitely not, right? So to combat that, what do? We control our sizing. We don't overtrade. We have limits on how much money we're willing to lose in any single given day, right? The moment you start to ignore those other steps or those limits is when you turn a strategy like this that is profitable, has been profitable, has brought multiple payouts to multiple people, right? When you take a strategy like that and then you make it unsuccessful or unprofitable, right? That's how you do that, is by not following those limitations. And then that's why people then begin to strategy hop. I promise 95, 99% of traders have not stuck with one strategy for more than 6 months. Because if they did, they would be profitable in most case scenarios. Right? And that's just the reality. I'm not trying to, you guys are gonna learn that if you haven't been on a boot camp like this, or you haven't heard me in a stream or anything like that, like I'm no bullshit. I will tell you guys as it is. Trading is not for everybody for a reason, because most people can't control their emotions or look at the broader, more long-term process of what it takes to be a trader. Right? Everybody wants to be a trader because of the money that they can make, because of the cars they could buy, the house they could buy, you know, the things they could buy. But then when you say, okay, well, you have to show up every single day. You think that you think that a 9 to 5 is bad, right? Yeah, sure. A 9 to 5 is, there's nothing wrong with it, but at least you're always guaranteed to get money for the work that you put in. Trading is not that, right? I can be here for an hour every single day for 2 months and not make a single dollar. And most people aren't going to be okay with that. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But again, I just want to make sure that you guys understand the relatively harsh reality of what trading is. Does automation help that? 100%, right? But does it take away the over trading, the over leveraging, the over risking, the oversizing, the greed? No, it doesn't. Especially with something that's actual legitimate automation that you guys have full control over, right? Because when we're referring to ATS, yes, the executions and the trade management are automatic, but what strategy you run, how often you run it, what sizing, how aggressive you run it, are still things that you guys decide and you guys dictate. So there's still always going to be a human aspect or an emotional aspect to it, right? And the same thing, people are like, oh, well, how do you overtrade, or how do you strategy hop with algorithms, right? The moment you're changing the settings of an algorithm, even if it's the same algorithm, any change in the settings is a different strategy, because now it has different scenarios or different criteria for entries and exits, right? Even the difference between 5B and 10B, is the base strategy the same? Yes. But is the actual implemented strategy that you're trading different? Also yes. Because you're going to get different results. You're going to get different entries, different exits, different stop losses, different trades, all with the same system. But there's still different strategies. You trade one strategy on gold, you trade one strategy on NQ, right? Ryan, I totally agree on this move right now. Is this a good breakout to the downside or not? I wouldn't take it, because, if you guys have trading view open also, the opening range high is right here, right? And then we have the pivot here. So like just this area in general, I would probably make this a little bit bigger. Maybe now like to 680, like right here. Probably an option. Just because opening range, especially like once we're getting a little bit later into the day, like you guys will also learn that most times I'm done trading by 9:50, right? If I go past 10 o'clock, I stop myself at 10:30, which It's 10:15 now, or 10:13. So at the end of the day, like, again, just with how much exposure are you giving? Like, we had a winning trade here, break even, two losses, and then we had another, what, 6 box 60 point win. Like, I'm happy with that. I don't need to trade anymore. But if we're going by the system, this I would prefer a buy breakout coming off of a retest of an important level than taking a breakout sell into an important level, because this breakout sell would have been somewhere around here. We would have taken one loss, two loss, and then this trade would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, and then turned around and been a break even, right? Not because I don't
Order
think that,
submitted.
again, this isn't a valid breakout like entry model, but the idea is to take the entry models that I teach, the bounce plays, the breakouts, the continuations, and line them up with levels like this that make sense. Like, would you ever buy into an all-time high? Would you ever buy
Stop
at an all-time
filled.
high? No, right? You want to wait for a new high to be created, to find an equilibrium, or balance out, and then continue to that new high, right? But you don't want to buy at an all-time high. So I would have taken probably this breakout first. This would have been a break even, because half at one, you move it up, stop loss, and then this would be another one that you could have taken, you'd be up to. But I prefer these because, again, anything above VWAP, I prioritize buys. Anything below VWAP, I prioritize sells, and then I try to line it up with those levels. I'm only taking breakouts like this against the VWAP if it's off like a pivot level, because pivots are extremely valuable. Okay. Dan, this right now is of what Banksy is saying is the main reason I've attended each boot camp from the beginning and will continue to attend future boot camps. Banksy tells it the way it is with no bullshit. Very hard to find this level of integrity out there. I appreciate that, Dan. You're trying to become my favorite, aren't you? I have to go, but 10 boxes today. Great lesson. Gotta go. Have a great day. See you, T. Have a good day, brother. That makes a lot of sense and helping me with my over trading issue. It's getting more specific on what I want out of the charts, picking my trades. Exactly. Again, that's what trading is. You just pick your trades, right? You pick your trades, you pick good trades, you pick quality trades, and you'll have success at the end of the day, right? Quality trades matter. More trades don't matter. But I did like this session because, again, we did show the Ninja Trader. So going back on yesterday's lesson when we talked about the specifics of Ninja Trader, when you do that automatic file download, it'll have these ATM strategies already loaded for you. So you guys, if you want to do, so I just renamed this, but this is Banksy 10B, or Banksy 10B like this, right? And then you have your ATM, or the ATM strategy if I were to edit it. So I have the stop loss to start at 120 ticks, which is 3 boxes, and I'll just adjust it to 20 if I need to. And then you can take the first profit at 1 box if you want. All this is going to do is it's going to give you a chance to have more break evens, right? Than like full losses. But the losses, when they do happen, are going to be a little bit bigger. Okay, just to let you guys know. So it's a balancing act, right? If you want to go just straight 5 and just only do a trailing, right, you're going to have more losses, but you're also going to have like bigger individual wins, I would say. I don't really know which one is more profitable, like in the long run, because I haven't used this version in a while. Again, it's there because I have Ninja Trader open and stuff, right? And this is just the ATM strategy that was already kind of loaded in, which I forgot to take off. But Sam says, should I open an Apex account and trade on an eval while I follow live trading in the morning instead of just doing simulation? I would stick to simulation first, right? Until you learn. Once you learn like the basics of like, okay, these are the entries that I'm looking for. These are the areas I'm looking for. This is what I'm trying to do. Then, you can practice on an evaluation. I think evals are great practice because you still have a little bit skin in the game. But for example, with Apex, like they're so cheap that you can purchase one, and just don't go to get Starbucks, for a week or so, and you should be fine, right? Oh shit, excuse me. Um, but yeah, just because it's newer, once you like get a better grasp of it and you have a better idea of like, okay, like this is what an entry is, this is what my stop loss is, and all that, and you know how to manage it, then you can be like, okay, now I'm going to try and apply it to an eval, right? And most people, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people I've seen, they'll take the strategy and that they're pretty new with, and they'll apply it to an eval, and they'll literally pass in like 2 weeks. I've seen it happen multiple times. Obviously, not every time, but people do take advantage of their first time trading a strategy luck, which I think is a thing. But yeah, again, that's just what I would do. Like if I was trading a completely new strategy, like same thing, like a good example now, like I haven't traded Ninja Trader manually probably ever, right? And I'm not trading anything of value. I'm just trading a simulation account today. Because in case I'm like, oh, well, this, I need to do something or fix something or whatever, or da 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 da, like I don't have to worry about like making a mistake and it costing me an evaluation or a P account, right? Like mentally, that's the same process you should have for something like automation. Like if you're a completely new ATS member, you have absolutely no business running an evaluation or a PA the first week that you start ATS. There's absolutely no way that you know enough about the system or the setup process to be able to run something of value. Because if you lose it because you make a mistake or because you mess something up with the setup or you misinterpreted the sizing of what the quantities are or what the contracts are or whatever the case, you want to make those mistakes on a demo account, not on 20p accounts that it took you 6 months to get, right? Because then you'll just be fucking pissed, right? You'll be pissed. You'll be pissed at us, even though we technically didn't have anything to do with it, right? That's one of the downsides of like giving you guys a system. And again, I'm referring to ATS or even elite members. It's one of the downsides of giving you guys a system that you guys have full control over, is that you guys have to take accountability for the dumb decisions that you guys make, right? And it's okay to make dumb decisions, but as long as you learn from them, right? Like it doesn't make sense to make dumb decisions and then make the same decision again and expect a different result. That doesn't make sense, you know? But that's the reason why we have it, set up the way that we do, is because you guys have to have full authority over the system to then apply it in the way that you want. Because it's either we make it cookie cutter and we don't give anybody any options, or we give you guys full control over the system and teach you how to use it, right? But in order for you to use it properly, you have to learn how to use it. And some people don't, go through the proper setup of learning how to use it, sadly, right? I'm not saying most, but some don't. You'll have somebody, 4, 5, 6 months into being on ATS, and I talked about this yesterday, half a year into being ATS, and they still don't know how to, create a new alert, right? And there's absolutely no excuse for that. There's no way you make an investment of the size that you make, and for example, something like ATS, and then put it off to the side and not give a shit about it enough to bother yourself with learning it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like obviously this is a much more drastic example, but it's like purchasing a gun or a firearm and not without taking any gun classes or gun courses and then expect to use it properly, right? Like that doesn't make sense. Like you can die, you can kill yourself accidentally with a gun if you don't know how to properly handle it. That's just the reality of it, So it's similar. It's like you can kill your account, you can kill your PA accounts if you don't know how to properly handle or use the system that you purchased, that you have full control over. Actually, that was a really, really good example. Now that I think about it, obviously a little bit more graphic, but like at the end of the day, like that was that's how it is. Like I said, I'm not a cookie cutter. I'll tell you guys how it is. If you guys are being stupid or you guys are making a dumb decision, I'm gonna tell you outright. Not because I think you're stupid, right? I've made stupid decisions. I'm 26. I still make stupid decisions, right? But I try my best to learn from them, you know? Like that's just how it has to be. You have to go about life, you know, knowing that you don't know everything,
Order
you know?
submitted.
And you know, if you can do that, then I think you'll be in a better place than if you did go through life thinking you knew everything, in my opinion. But it's coming on about 10:30. I do think this was a really, really good session, but we're probably gonna cap it here. Took a couple different entries. I'm gonna try and figure out why it's not showing on NinjaTrader. I'm also gonna try and figure out if we can get like a second panel. I'm gonna ask Austin or see if I can watch a YouTube tutorial about it. A second panel for NinjaTrader to share that, because really that's the biggest thing for NinjaTrader is that it's not showing the chart itself with the Renko bricks. So that's the reason why for the recording it'll be the trading view thing. Tomorrow we'll probably also use trading view because again I want to show you guys on trading view also some of the differences. It'll be streamed on YouTube also because I do stream Tuesday, Thursday for everybody on YouTube. So some people sometimes they ask good questions also that maybe it helps you guys learn too. Okay. And then I'll figure out again why NinjaTrader isn't showing on the OBS. It's probably a setting that I haven't set yet. But I'll let you guys know, like I said. Aside from that, like I said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks, man. Is there a good video on how to set up Banksy Shrine NinjaTrader? Just can't get what you have on my screen. Yeah. So in the Discord, if you go to Auto Banksy NinjaTrader Automation, inside that forum, it teaches you how to set it up. You would set it up, you enable it, and then at the top you just pause trades, so it wouldn't take trades manually. So if I were to unpause this, right, it would start taking trades when the buyer everything's green or everything's red, right? But the difference between the automated version and this version is that this version will only take, so when we have like a green background, it'll only take trades in that background. So no, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's like green here, this is yellow. Like it'll only take trades with those. So like, let me see if I can change the background color. Properties. There we go. So like I could go. There we go. So it's like, see how it's like green background? Like this, when it turns green, it's taking a trade. When it flips back to yellow, it comes out of a trade. So it'll only take trades during green, basically, right? And this is the automated version. If you want to trade with this manually, obviously you would set it up the same way as I discussed in the video, but you just pause it and then you just trade it manually. Yeah, it's still in live testing. It's running right now on some accounts right now. Oh wait, that's the wrong chat. I was looking at the Auto Banksy. Thank you for the session today. See you tomorrow. Awesome. Trading View and NinjaTrader subscription based, correct? And no. So anything NinjaTrader, you don't need a bridge. There's no subscription. You just need an account, and you need to just pay for the live data. TradingView does need a subscription, and anything on TradingView, you do need to bridge to your account either by QuantLink or with your ATS 1.4. Obviously, if you don't have QuantLink, you use another third party. So like when I was on Elite, I had to use Pick My Trade because QuantLink wasn't a thing. Tradevate is where you're trading to. So your broker is, or your prop firm account would be Tradevate. For NinjaTrader, you can use the same login for NinjaTrader if you want to automate on NinjaTrader, so you don't need anything else. Or TradingView, you would connect your Tradevate either to your ATS 1.4 or to your QuantLink, and then whenever QuantLink or ATS 1.4 receives an entry based off of the algorithm you're running on TradingView, then it'll then execute on that prop firm or your Tradevate. One weird thing with my NinjaTrader Banksy chart, my Q Cloud Trend Trader from the box never changes. Mine just looks like just looks a little different. Well, I'll work on it, but I'd love to see your settings. Yeah, I think I just have the base settings for it. I didn't change anything when I put it on. Yeah, I think NinjaTrader is something that a lot of people will flip over to until 2.0 comes out. Again, I like it. I like it a lot. So, but I'm still using both. Yeah, but like I said, that'll be it for today, guys. Again, I do appreciate you guys for showing up, showing out. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the Discord chat for the bootcamp. Like I said, whether it's about the stream for today or anything like that. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. It'll be the same thing, obviously live trading. It'll be on TradingView solely, and then it'll also be streamed on YouTube. For those of you guys that do want to get like Apex accounts or whatever, if you use code Banksy for Apex right now currently, so every month I do a giveaway where you just have to purchase one evaluation with that code, and then you get a chance to win a free account at the end of the month. I give away 5. This month we might do 10. And then also currently there's a buy 5 get 1 free for that specific code for Apex, where if you buy 5 evaluations, the 6th one you'll get free at the end of the month as well. And then the 5 that you purchase will also put you into the running for the free account at the end of the month. Okay. But I always do that. Like I said, I try to make it a little bit better for you guys. And then sometimes, it hasn't been every bootcamp that I've done a giveaway, but like sometimes I'll do a giveaway for like 3 evaluations or 5 evaluations on the last day of the month. I'll just ask a question and like whoever answers it first type of thing, or I'll just do like another raffle. But like I said, I try and give you guys, as many promotions and cool things that you guys can possibly get, just for being in the bootcamp or just using the Banksy code. Obviously up to you. Like I said, you don't need to, but if you want to, right, it's an option. And yeah, aside from that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Like I said, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, peace out, everybody. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See ya.